Hello, welcome to the Associate MFT registration application video. In this video, I'm going to help guide you through the AMFT application. As you'll see, we're only going to go through the AMFT application in this video. A very similar application is required for the APCC for those of you that are going to be applying for the PCC registration as well. A lot of what we're going to talk about is going to apply to that. So we're not going to do double duty there. Hopefully all of this will support you in completing that application as well. During this video, I'm going to guide us through the application instructions. We'll go over very, specifically what you need to do, how to order transcripts, etc., and give you some tips and tricks as you are ready to go to submit your application, some things to be aware of, etc. So where I first want to start, like I said again, this is just for the AMFT application. If you are applying for the APCC as well, you are going to be completing another separate application that's available on the BBS website. And what you're going to do is you're going to have two separate envelopes. This does get submitted through snail mail. So you are going to be submitting it at the post office, UPS, FedEx, whatever makes the most sense for you. And you are going to be submitting one envelope for your AMFT application and one envelope for your APCC application. The other thing that I want to mention is the clinical training team really recommends that you can prepare everything, but that you go ahead and send your application no sooner than 3 weeks after your degree conferral date. That is the last day of your last semester in grad school, and that you wait until you've gotten notice that your degree has officially posted. And we'll talk a little bit more about that as well. So as you can see, this application starts with a nice little checklist here of things that you need to be aware of that are included in this application. We'll go over all of these components. The next page here are more in-depth application instructions. You want to definitely go through this, take your time, read everything. Notice where you're going to be submitting your application is the Board of Behavioral Sciences in Sacramento. That is the address. It tells you, you need to include your fee, etc. We'll talk about that. It mentions a great checklist that they also provide that we'll go through as well. The one thing that I do want to bring your attention to, and we do our best to stay updated on these videos, and as of February 2025, this is the most recently updated version of this application. You'll see the BBS revised it in August 2024, so you want to make sure that you are utilizing the most updated version of the application. Something else that's important that I will mention probably at the end of this video as well is a great tool when you submit this application, again, via UPS, USPS, FedEx, whatever you choose. Something great to do is to invest in some kind of receipt that the BBS has received your envelope, whether it's certified mail, anything like that, you pay a little bit more to make sure that they've received it. Alternatively, the only other way that you'd really know that they've received it is when they cash your check. So you can wait for that, or you can certify the mail and get a proof of receipt. Again, this is going through the application instructions, the fee that you have to attach. There's a $150 fee that you have to attach as a check or money order that's payable to the BBS fund. The other fee that you'll have, it's not going to be attached to this, is when you go and do your live scan. This one here is for out of state, so you can ignore that. Again, all of this, huge chunk of this is truly a lot of instructions. You'll notice that what you're actually turning into the BBS is pretty slim, just a few pages out of this entire application. As was mentioned before, this is the checklist that the BBS provides to help you avoid any kind of deficiencies. Again, we've reiterated here that we recommend that you wait 3 weeks after your last day of your last semester and with notice that you've received, that your degree has actually posted before you submit this application. Just some reminders here. We're going to go over all of this. You are going to be turning in this completed application. You are going to be requesting an official transcript to be submitted, and that's going to be through Pepperdine. And you are also going to be completing a live scan and including that $150 check or money order. Something that Pepperdine submits for you, and it's a part of this application, is something called the Degree Program Certification or Form B. And we're going to take a look at that in just a second. If you have any questions about that after submission, or if you're concerned or need a copy of that Form B, you're going to reach out to Claudia Walters. Any questions about transcripts, you are going to reach out to either Sergio Lopez or Easton Simpson, and they are the ones that can support you with the transcripts. So just some contacts for you to have in case. The last kind of recommendation that I want to give you is before mailing this application, I recommend that you make a copy, scan the entire contents of what you are submitting to the BBS, kind of as your evidence or proof. You have a copy of it that this is what was in the envelope before you submit this in the mail. So just a good little tidbit, and make sure to do that for both the AMFT and the APCC application. So the rest of this kind of gives you more supports, the handbook for future LMFTs, a Q&A, etc. It talks about post-degree experience. So something that's really important to remember is there's two components actually here. The first one is, in order to continue counting hours post-grad, you have to submit this application within 90 days after you've graduated. Okay. So it has to be postmarked, even if it's day 89. As long as you've submitted it within the 90 days, you can count all of the hours as you've waited in this limbo to receive your registration number. The other stipulation here is that you have to have had a live scan done. So if you are continuing at your trainee site post-grad and you did a live scan through your trainee site, great. You're in the clear. You can continue there. Make sure to submit this application within 90 days. If you are continuing at a trainee site or at a new site that's hired you post-grad where you haven't done a live scan, you also have to do another live scan. So this is separate from the application live scan. You are going to be doing a live scan to submit with this application. You have to do another live scan through that site, whether it was your trainee site or newly hired site, in order to count those hours. So again, two stipulations to continue counting hours in that limbo post-grad, but before you've received your registration number. You have to submit this application within 90 days, and there has to be an active live scan you've done with that site. So really important to remember. This goes more into some exam requirements, required continuing education, etc. Post grad, and once you receive your AMFT, you do have to take the law and ethics exam in your first year. You have to attempt it in order to renew your registration. Again, notice I use the word attempt. You don't have to pass, although I have faith that all of you will pass. You just have to attempt it every year in order to renew your registration. Of course, if you attempt it and you pass, you're done. So yeah, this goes a little bit more. There's a 6-year limit on the registration number you receive. Just be mindful of that. Avoiding deficiencies in your file being closed. Remember that the address that you provide on this application is going to be public record. So I recommend really think about that. If your site or newly hired site will allow you to use that address, that's great. You can always invest in a PO box. Something that some postgrads do is kind of invest in a PO box together. You can also get a virtual PO box, which will give you an actual physical address, but they will hold your mail for you, take scans of it until you can pick it up. So there's options. You don't have to use your home address. You can, though, if you're comfortable. Make sure, though, it is a permanent address. Any changes to any information, name, address, email, you are wanting to go on the breeze.ca.gov website. That's the Department of Consumer Affairs website where all of this is registered. You will create an account, and I've linked that website link on here for you too. You can do that once you send your application. You'll also see application updates on this account. So make sure whatever information you put on that application is the same as what you use to sign up for your Breeze account in order to make sure it's linked and that you can see application updates. It's through this account that you'll also apply for your exams, your law and ethics, eventually your licensing, etc. So get familiar with Breeze. Also, it's a great tool for those of you, if you're starting at a new site, you want to make sure to confirm supervisor's information, make sure to confirm that their license is up to date. You can search anybody with a license on Breeze as well. So this goes through a little bit more information, etc. Any questions you have, how to contact the BBS. And then finally, on the 5th page, we actually get to the application itself. So this is what you are going to be filling out and submitting as part of your application. So don't forget that $150 fee, right? You want to make sure that it's made out to the BBS. You are going to be filling out all of this that's boxed in red, so that's all of your information. Don't forget to fill out your last first name, middle name if you have one up here as well. Answer these questions if you've ever served in the armed forces, National Guard, if you have any other type of license, registration, etc. Make sure to answer this question about if you've been denied any kind of license, etc. Then we get to a question about transcripts. So I'm going to be honest with you all. This is probably something that a lot of students struggle with because I know that there is not only an urgency, but an excitement to submit our application. Your transcripts take some time to officially be completed, posted, right? So you need to give it that time. Please wait to order and send your transcripts again, at least 3 weeks after degree conferral date. So for example, if you are graduating in June, if your last day is June 13th, for example, you are completing the program then, you are going to wait approximately until the first week of July in order to not only submit this application, but request your transcripts. And what you're going to be doing is you're going to be going through the Student Clearinghouse website. I've put that link up there. You're going to click Order Your Transcript online, and you are going to choose to send it electronically. If you want a sealed transcript via mail, that's going to take longer. So we recommend you do it electronically, and you're going to send it to the following email, bbstranscripts@dca.ca.gov. That is where you are going to request that the transcript be sent electronically. Again, you want to wait 3 weeks minimum. Continuing in the application, again, I've seen people mistakenly forget to put their names on a page. Don't forget to do that. The next thing that's coming up here is that degree program certification form, or that Form B that I mentioned. So this form is something that is sent by Pepperdine automatically when you graduate, and it is sent electronically. So you don't have to think twice about this form. All you have to do is click yes, sent electronically, and Pepperdine will do the rest. Additional coursework. So as you all may be aware, you had to complete suicide risk assessment and intervention coursework, as well as telehealth coursework through your courses at Pepperdine, which you all did. You can fill out this section. It's totally optional though, because all of these courses are also mentioned in your degree program certification. If you're someone that just likes to see a complete application, you are more than welcome to fill this out. If you don't fill it out, that's okay too. If you are going to fill it out, please fill it out verbatim here. What I've written for you is exactly how you should fill it out. Continuing here, just a final signature that your response here is voluntary, any background information that you want to let the BBS know about. You are going to hand sign. Again, it can be electronically hand drawn or physically hand drawn, but always remember for all BBS documentation, you want to have hand drawn signatures. They'll put the date and the fill out application is done. It's just 3 pages here. So next, as you go, you'll see something called Form A. You want to omit this. If you print out this entire thing, you can just throw this away, or you can put a big old X and say, this does not apply to me. Form A does not apply to you. You can just omit all of these pages. I believe it's 4 pages that you can just get rid of. Form B. So this is the degree program certification that I mentioned. It gives you instructions, but just know that Pepperdine fills this out for you. You do not submit this out with your application. We submit it and send it electronically to the board. You do not have to worry about this. Again, you can write with a big Sharpie, Pepperdine takes care of this for me. Don't send an application. And I've put this on all of the forms that are a part of Form B, so you don't have to even think about it, okay? So do not submit. Form B is something that Pepperdine takes care of for you. It's your degree program certification. Finally are your instructions for live scan fingerprinting. So like I said, you may have to do 2 separate live scans. In order to continue counting hours, let's say you're at a new site, you have to make sure that you've done a live scan at that site. If you're continuing with your trainee site and you already did a live scan with them when you started, great, you're in the clear. If you never did a live scan with them when you started, you're going to need to do another live scan separate with them. But this live scan is specifically for your AMFT and APCC application. You are going to go through this. This is some of the instructions. I've highlighted the most important part. What you're going to be doing is you're going to see that there's 1 live scan form that you're filling out. You're going to fill that out, but you're going to make 2 additional copies, 3 additional copies if you want to send a second copy through your PCC. We'll talk about that in just a second. You are going to be taking 3 copies, though, to the live scan operator. So maybe you want to hold off on the 4th one. We'll talk about that in a second. You're going to take 3 copies when you go and you sign up. You can do live scans at UPS. There's other live scan facilities. You're just going to have to Google that and find what's closest to you. You are going to take 3 copies to the live scan operator. The first copy the operator will keep, and then they're going to give you back 2 of those copies. 1 for your records and a second that you're going to send to the BBS in your AMFT application. If you are applying for APCC, make a 4th copy of that final live scan that's given back to you to put in that application as well. Okay, so 3 to the live scan operator, you'll get 2 back, you'll keep 1 for you, 1 goes in your application for AMFT, and then if you're doing the APCC, you'll make a copy and put it in the APCC application as well. Okay, this goes over just some of the instructions, how to fill out your form. And if you scroll down, again, more Privacy Act statements, all of that. This is the actual live scan form. You are going to make 2 additional copies of this form, and you are going to give all 3 to the live scan tech, to the operator. When you fill out this form, obviously this is all of your personal information. Here, though, it says type of license. You're only going to mark 1. Even though you're doing PCC, it's okay. Just mark either MFT or PCC, totally fine. Do not mark 2, just 1. You can still make a copy of it and put it in your APCC application as well. So once you fill all of this out, again, you are going to give all 3 copies to the live scan tech. They are going to complete the live scan, keep 1 copy, and return 2 to you. 1 that you're going to keep for your records, 1 that you're going to place in your envelope with your application or make a copy of and send in both your AMFT and APCC applications. And that's it. That is the associate application. You do not turn in any hours, your BBS supervision agreements, nothing like that is a part of this application. That's later on for your licensure. Really, the core things, and again, if you scroll up, this little checklist that the BBS has provided is really your best friend here, along with our videos and instructions. Your completed application, your transcript that you're sending electronically, your degree program certification is Pepperdine's duty, right? Your live scan, and that $150 check. That is really all there is to this application. So hopefully this has been helpful for you all. Even though this video is pretty strong in supporting you navigate this application, again, I recommend that you read through the entirety of the instructions here. Again, please wait the 3 weeks after your last day of your last semester and your degree has officially posted to submit this application, request your transcripts, and do all that good stuff. I know it's exciting and we want to get our numbers sooner rather than later, but sometimes in that excitement, we can do things too soon and we may get a deficiency letter. So please hold off. You can celebrate, definitely celebrate that you've ended grad school. You're on the road to the next part of your journey. But yes, make sure you have a little extra patience. I know it can be a little frustrating, but I promise you at the end it'll be helpful to give that time to submit your application. So hopefully again this has been helpful. If you have any questions, please be sure to reach out to the clinical training team. And of course, you can always reach out to the BBS as well.